Good morning to you, Kenyan citizens. Welcome. This is the Current Affairs segment. It is your trusted source for the latest news, insightful discussions, and impactful stories shaping our nation and beyond. I'm Kabete, and as you can see, we're here with Grace. What we'll do, we dive into the latest headlines and uncover the truth behind the news. This is where we make sure that you stay updated of what is happening that is in our country and beyond. So stay tuned as we break it down right here, right now. Grace?
Yes,
good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm well.
You're doing well?
Yes, I'm very fine. Ready to inform our viewers
of what is happening.
Yeah, what has been happening in our country.
Sijui kama ni Kenya nzima kuna baridi. Kwenye umetoka kuna baridi?
Kuna baridi lakini we are here to warm them up with amazing discussions.
Yeah. And before anything else, lazima tupatie our viewers that is the verse of the day.
Yes.
An encouragement to keep them moving. You know, because that is the key thing. You know, the word of God, Grace, the word of God is always there to keep us moving each and every day. And you have the verse of the day?
Yes, the verse of the day comes from the book of Proverbs 27:17. And it says, iron sharpens iron. Yes, it's talking about iron sharpening iron. And one man sharpens another. I love that. That iron sharpens iron. This, it's like imagery ambayo inapeana. And saying that if you have one sharp tool and you have another and you're trying to sharpen it, it will definitely be sharp. Now it is continuing and saying one man sharpens another. This is talking about friendship and embracing the fact that you cannot live alone. No man is an island. We all need people in our lives to help us be able to get to the other side. Let's talk of character. Let's talk of wisdom.
Strength, you know. We need people that you can look up to.
Yes.
You know, so that's why actually we suppose, do you know, even the watu wazima, Grace, they also need mentors.
True.
You know, because it reaches a point, there's some things in life hatuna experience. We need people that you can look up to. Even when it comes to the spiritual matters, which voice speaks into your life? No, you must have a voice that speaks into your life.
Very true.
You know, that is what we need each and every day. And that's why Nasema that iron sharpens iron and one man sharpens another. So this is another thing, Grace, that is telling us. Make sure that you be so careful of the people that you work with. You know, because these people are part of the character that you're becoming. You know, day and day we learn new things each and every day. Where from the people that are surrounding us, you know, from the things that your friends talk, you know, from the conversations that you have. Imagine that is what shapes you. She's scared. Can you tell me, show me your friends that tell you who you are.
Actually, it also talks of embracing correction.
Because
if you have friends who are correcting you, you'll definitely go somewhere. Because if you have people who are not correcting you, they are always clapping for you and telling you, you know what, you're doing it. They are not really helping you. So when it talks of one man sharpening another, it is also talking about correction. It's good to correct your friend. It's good to have people who are correcting you. That's why you're talking about mentors. Because mentors will tell you the truth.
People actually, they called people who keep you in check. That is what we need.
On toes.
In check. Make sure that you have, if you're born again, because I believe people are watching us, they're born again. Make sure that, you know, tembelea Mizpah Prayer Center, you get to be born again. Ama ukuwe na services because kunapatia watu wanaokoka. Make sure that you have people who are keeping in check, friends that are surrounding you. Make sure that they have the same faith just like you. You know, we usually say, Grace, if you walk with 6 millionaires, become the 7th one. So tell me, what about the people who are surrounding us? That's because they say iron sharpens
iron. And one man sharpens another. Actually, it is even about faith. Ukikaa sana na watu wenye hawajaokoka, hata ufanye aje, even if you are full of the Holy Spirit, you cannot really bring them on the other side. Wao no wanaweza kuvuta.
Influence. It's called the power of influence. Grace, so tembea na mwizi utakuwa mwizi, Grace.
So it's good to have people around you who are of the same faith as you are, who are believing in God the same way as you, and they will always remind you, you know what, God is here for you.
And that is the verse of the day.
Yeah.
And now, Grace, there's something else?
Yeah, before we dive into what has been happening in our country, we have to invite people here at Mizpah House of Prayer. We have an amazing conference.
Oh, really?
It's called the Ladies of Nobility Monthly Prayer Meeting.
Yeah, the noble women.
Yeah, the noble women and ladies. If you're there, you're a woman, or you're a man having a girlfriend or a wife, let's talk of a sister, you know, we are inviting you to the Ladies of Nobility Monthly Prayer Meeting here at Mizpah House of Prayer. That is on 17th. That is next week, actually on Saturday, 17th of May 2025. You know, the Ladies of Nobility is a monthly prayer program. It always happens every third Saturday of every month. And it's an amazing time for women to come and, you know, imagine women fellowshipping together, being taught about fellowshipping, intercessory, and all that. Wanawake wakisimama kwa maombi.
I know the power of being a woman, Grace. You know, noble women. So we invite them? Yeah, we invite all of you. Mizpah House of Prayer is located in Bahati, Nakuru, along Nakuru Highway. And the good thing, Grace, entry is free. Yes, entry is free. Yes. And for more details, please call us on 07 at 277-66553, and we'll be so glad to have you here. Yes. And now let's dive into the key objective, Grace. That is on what has been happening. I have the Standard with me. I have the Daily Nation with me. And on the objectives, the things that we are going to tackle today, to tangalia, that is the national news. We'll check the backbone of our economy, that is agriculture. We'll be checking that. Then another thing that we'll be checking, that it will be dive into politics, things to do with that is the things that is to angazia, that is things to do with the former deputy president, that is Rigathi Gachagua. That is what we'll be checking out. Then we'll be checking that is things to do with legal and crime. Then we'll be checking that is health sector. And on your Daily Nation, what are the stories that we'll be checking today? Okay, today's stories, my top stories, one about the Kapisul MP Charles Were story. We remember that he was gunned. He was gunned down by a motorcycle assassin near Nairobi Funeral Home. Now there has been an investigation, but now this is linked to a mystery call that he received before he was shot. And now we have another story about the Murang'a governor Erongo Kangata, where he represented some relatives of people who died in the March 2019 Ethiopian Airlines plane crash. But there has been some mystery around there that we will get to understand more. The next story is about a lawyer, missing banker, that is 1.5 shillings billion Equity Bank haste. There was a haste last year, and now it's like some light has been shed, and the one who was involved is a high court alleged to have played a central role in this haste. We'll get to understand more about that. Yes. And now let's dive now into what has been happening. What are the top stories? Okay, let me head right to mystery call link in arrest of Kapisul MP Charles Were's bodyguard and driver. At about 2:40 p.m. on April 30th, a call was made to the cell phone of an aide of Kapisul. I'm saying Kapisul, but they are Kasipul. Kasipul MP Charles Ongondo Were. The aide, who was at Parliament buildings at the time, had a conversation with the caller that lasted 1 minute and 10 seconds. This was not the first time that the caller was speaking to the MP's bodyguard. 2 days earlier, the bodyguard had received a call from the same number. You see, so there is some mysteries here. The bodyguard is receiving the same call again, all over again. So, but the call on the afternoon of April 30th has interested the DCI because the lawmaker was shot dead hours later. The bodyguard and the MP's driver has since been arrested. You see, there has been an investigation about the call, because we see that he was called few minutes, then he was gunned down. And the personal records of the mobile phones registration have stoked further controversies, because it is said that the source said that further scrutiny of the line revealed that it had been registered in the names of a woman from Nyanza, who investigators have now confirmed was long dead when her details were used to register the line. So it is a good thing that we're seeing that the DCI are doing their due diligence
to investigate about the call, but now we see that the same number was registered to a dead woman. Yeah, but the bodyguard and the driver have been arrested for more. Continue to investigate about the story. Yeah.
Okay.
But there's still not much light about who is really the killer. Yeah.
I hope atapatikana. Yeah, so that justice can be served. Yes. And now let's dive into the national news, Grace. Things to do with the economy itself, because that is one of the things that we said we'll check out.
Yeah.
And now on page 6 of my Daily Nation, Kenya Kwanza's pet project posts slow growth in ailing economy. And there are some highlights, Grace, that I'm going to check out. They say this resulted in a drop in economic growth that is 4.7% in 2024. I'm talking about the gross domestic product. That is this year imekuwa 4.7%. And you know last year ilikuwa 5.7%, you know. So it means that there is a drop. And then they're also saying that construction sector was expected to grow due to the affordable housing project, but it seems that is not happening. We're here to figure out the reason as to why that is not happening. And then kuna some highlights, the performance in some specific industries, and one of them kuna accelerated growth that is manufacturing, in the manufacturing area. The GDP ilikuwa that is 2.8% in 2024 up to that is 2.8 in 2024, up from that is 2.2% in 2023. So we can say at least there was growth, that kulikuwa na visible growth imeonekana, that is 2024.
Yes.
And then there are areas zenye zimekuwa na slow growth. Let's talk about that is agriculture itself. Agriculture ilikuwa that is 4.6% in 2024, down from that is 6.6% in 2023. And when it comes to another thing, that is electricity. Before we go to other thing, tukimaliza the highlights, will dive into the world of agriculture. Because there are issues when it comes to agriculture. Then when it comes to electricity supply, ilikuwa 1.9% in 2024, down from that is 3.1 in 2023. So you can see kuna drop when it comes to agriculture and the electricity supply. When it comes to the ICT, 7% in 2024, down from that is 10.3% in 2023. That is a drop. And it comes to the financial services, ilikuwa 7.6 in 2024, down from that is 10.1 in 2023. And it comes to the transport and storage, ilikuwa 4.4% in 2024, down from that is 5.5% in 2023. When it comes to accommodation and food services, ilikuwa 25.7% in 2024, down from that is 3.6%. Remember the way the gap is big.
Very big.
And then when it comes to the contractions, the mining inquiry, ilikuwa 9.2 in 2024, compared to that is 6.5 in 2023. And then the last one, that is the construction, ilikuwa that is 0.7% in 2024, compared to that is 3% in 2023. Those are the highlights zenye wamepeana. And actually what they are saying that the construction sector was expected to have received boost from the housing project to create jobs, but also increase in consumption of products such as cement and steel. Okay, so this is something that you're supposed to check out, because they're saying, Grace, when it comes to the construction sector, ilikuwa na expected itaenda juu sana. Itapanda, you know, tutaona there'll be more constructions in our country. You know, importation of the clinkers, the key zenye zinatumika, that is in the cement itself, itaongezeka. But the funny thing, it is an irony, inapungua, despite even us hearing the president alisema that housing projects mingi zinazidi kujengwa, but what is not happening? You know, employment imeenda chini. What is not happening? And then they're saying nearly all the indicators in all sectors have, however, a decline according to the economic survey that was done in 2025. Number one, cement consumption dropped 7.2%, while employment registered a downward trend. And they're saying credit from the commercial banks to the sector also dropped, that is 5.8 billion. credit from the commercial banks to the sector also dropped, that is 528 billion last year from 602 billion 2023. That is the credit from the commercial banks, Grace.
Yes.
Zime drop. So can we say that what were ombi loans, you know, compared to last year, you know, can we say that is what is happening?
Yes.
Because, you know, like last year, GDP, inflation, Grace, ikipanda juu sana. I mean, ikidrop, what we expect is that is interest is itapungua.
Yes.
Interest on loans. But that is not what happened last year. You know, kumanisha watu hawakuomba sana. So it means that even the commercial banks pia zilikuwa affected.
Yes.
You know,
because watu hawaombi sasa.
Yes. And still to continue, they're saying that the contraction was reflected in the decline of key inputs such as cement, iron, steel, and imports. It means that you remember the clinkers, zenye zinatumika kwa cement, we are no longer importing more. So what could be the problem? That is what we're trying to figure out.
Yes.
Alafu bado, Grace, when it comes to the housing programming, this is what they're saying. Perhaps most visible anchors in Kenya's Kenya Kwanza 5-prong bottom-up economic transformation agenda, and with others have been agriculture, healthcare, the micro, small, and medium enterprises, and they're saying medium enterprises, economy, and digital superhighway, and the creative economy. So our question, the big question, if this is what was expected to happen this year, it's not happening. What could be the problem?
Yeah.
You know, that is what you're trying. Probably our citizens, you know, fellow citizens out there watching us, and you're also wondering the same. Probably una maoni yako, zungumza na sisi tuambie what could be the problem. You know, despite having the housing projects, tuna expect kutakuwa na employment. You know, the clinkers zitakuwa imported more in our country. That is not happening.
Yes.
You know,
construction ikiwa mingi, there will be employment because the youth will be really employed in those construction sites.
Yes, and still, Grace, still on other stories, on the same story, Grace, when it comes to the agriculture, agriculture, there was a big drop. That is in 2023 ilikuwa 4.6%. In 2020, that is in 2024 ilikuwa 4.6. A drop that is from 6.6% in 2023. And then when it comes to the maize production drops, wanasema it drops despite having the harvest. And they're saying maize production dropped by 6% last year, according to the latest data. And they say the lower production casts doubt as to whether President William Ruto program is aimed at ensuring Kenya is food secure and no longer relies on import as working. So if Grace tunasema harvest, Grace, inapungua itself.
Yes.
So what does this mean? You know, you remember last month pia walikuwa nasema the areas zenye watu tuna import, that is maize itself, hatuwezi. Kwa nini? Areas like Uganda wanasema wamekuwa affected na climate. So what does this mean? It means that we can't import. So should we expect that maize flight apanda?
Yeah, tuliona ugali iko karibu kupanda.
Yeah, ugali might become a luxury soon. Iache kukua need, because if they're saying, Grace, we can't import from the places that what tuna import, it seems like we can't import, you know. Alafu tena bado wanasema harvest inapungua. So where are we heading as a country?
It will cost a lot. That's why we said unaweza pata watu waanza kutafuta their means to survive, because kama hivyo ndo inafikia, especially ugali, that ni watu wengi wanakulanga ugali.
Yeah, that is the staple food of our country, you know.
Yeah. And watu wengi pia they rely on maize and selling the maize and getting money and using the money to do other things.
Yeah, and unajua, Grace, they're saying the easing of inflation in 2024 for various income groups was mainly due to reduction of the food prices, such as maize grain, maize products, you know, maize flour, and the decline was attributable to a decrease of the inflation of the transport sector, where petrol and diesel prices went down in 2024 compared to 2025. So it means that even the transport sector affect the agriculture sector. Na tuliona that was in March. Tuliambiwa that is actually, I think ishapanda, that is fuel. Inafaa kupanda na 7 shillings. And you know that is also going to affect agriculture. And sasa tunasema hakuna maize. So what is, imagine sasa combination ya mafuta kupanda,
hakuna maize.
Alafu tena maize harvest wanasema iko chini, you know.
Hakuna meat.
Unga ya ugali itatoka ngapi kilo moja soon? Things are going to become expensive.
Farmers are going to be really affected. Let's talk of the people ambao wanafanya business to do with maize and all that. Kenya wanapata kidogo wana hike prices. Sasa the customers kupata tena kununua itakuwa ngumu.
And you know, still let's check out, that was yesterday tukiangalia the budget allocations, Grace. Tuliona that is when it comes to agriculture, the sector of agriculture waliongezewa pesa. So we hope that at least waliongezewa that is from waliongezewa walipewa that is 48.25 billion from 45.64 billion. I hope by June 1 we're expecting that is the new budget itasomwa. I hope hizi pesa zitatumika.
I hope zitatumika vizuri. Because agriculture is the backbone of our country. Na kama agriculture ifanyi vizuri, it will be very bad for our country.
And that is what we had today for the economy. When it comes to the economy, what do you have?
Okay, there's this story about a city lawyer that I had mentioned earlier. City lawyer suspected to be the mastermind of the theft was yesterday released on 30 million bail. That is 30 million shillings bail. So it says lawyer, missing banker, and 1.5 billion shillings Equity Bank heist. On July 12 last year, Mr. David Mashiri Kimani, a manager at Equity Bank, was presented to Milimani Law Courts on accusation of abetting theft of 1.5 billion shillings from the lender. So you hear he's a leader from the Equity Bank. Earlier on July 10th, the Equity Bank's internal control department had detected a flurry of suspect transactions in the bank's salary account. In total, there were 47 withdrawals from the bank's payroll account, and the funds were quickly transferred to multiple accounts held in other financial institutions. There are other financial institutions where the money were transferred. But corresponding credits, details of the transactions, such as the names of the individuals or entities exchanging funds, the amounts and sources of the cash, which are necessary footprints to confirm that everything is above board, were fictitious. So these multiple transactions raised suspicion from the internal control team, reviewing them for confirmation details, and upon closer scrutiny, the theft of 1.5 billion was uncovered. Wow, 1.5 billion was uncovered. That is so serious. So then reports about so there has been an investigation, and reports about the investigation into the heist and the whereabouts of the prime suspect dropped from the public spotlight. Fast forward to October last year, DCI detectives identified another suspect, city lawyer Esther Bituti Kadiki. They believe she facilitated the funneling of the cash to multiple accounts held by other individuals and companies, including some in which she had a direct interest in. And when she presented herself to the Banking Fraud Investigations Office on May 5th, 2025, that is this month, she was promptly arrested, and that's why she was released yesterday on 30 million shillings bail. But you see, this is a very weird story, because she's a leader, and she is we've seen that her name is Mrs. Bituti. She's a lawyer, city lawyer. So if a lawyer connected to the manager of the Equity Bank, these are leaders who are supposed to show, accountability and honesty in business.
And I'm asking myself, Grace,
why
alikuwa released? Tell me why. Na kuna mtu mwizi wa kuku, Grace, anashikwa for like 10 years, 5 years.
Even in my mind, I'm like, maybe kwake 30 million bail is not a lot.
It's not a big thing.
Na sasa akiachiliwa nayo, maybe next time, maybe she would, of course nitaachiliwa na bail, so.
No, I'm asking myself, what are the other leaders supposed to learn from that?
And again, you see, a lawyer is paid a lot of money according to the way we know them. Mbona lawyer anaiba?
This is Kenya,
What is happening, and why is she stealing? Why is she taking the money?
I think sometimes leaders needs to be reminded about accountability and being responsible. And acting remember that wananchi wanawaangalia. Sasa huyu amekuwa released, Grace. I'm asking myself, will she get another position still?
Actually, they were all charged. Even David Mashiri Kimani, a former Equity Bank manager, he was also charged on July 12th last year. So you see, they are just being charged, but nothing much is being done.
Juko mtu aliba pesa Grace. Hata
hizo pesa ni mingi, 1.5 billion.
Atalipa ni hizo pesa zenye aliba.
Ni kama amelipa tu. Yeah, so I don't know. We are not saying that the law has not done its work.
Or the ruling was wrong.
Okay, let's not say about that. We don't know, but of course they have taken action. But at least these people should really be any other
because that is wrong.
Yes,
you know?
it's wrong as a leader to do. Now let's imagine the juniors who are in that company. They are seeing the seniors doing such. Wafike mahali hata wao walemewe na maisha hapo na
waende.
They will do the same.
Yeah. And away from that, now let's dive into politics, Grace.
Yes.
Atujasoma politics leo.
Yeah.
Let's dive into politics.
Yeah.
On page 8 of my Daily Nation, I can see here the deputy president, that is the deputy Kindiki, under siege as shifting alliances put his position in peril. The former deputy president Gachagua has lit a fire in Mount Kenya, seeking to weaken President Ruto's hold on over the region. So I don't know why still the government wanashinda waki. It feels like the way you usually say they sound threatened, Grace. And to continue with that, they saying pundits argue this might force our president Ruto to look elsewhere for his number 2 in 2027. So kwani Mount Kenya, okay, we know Mount Kenya is the big cake, but the big question is, Grace, what I think when it comes to elections, what uchagua mtu kulingana na kazi yenye amefanya. You know, I don't think the president needs to prove himself, Grace, especially to visit Mount Kenya only because of his, you know, his personal, I don't know if I should say a personal conflict between that him and the former deputy president, because they're saying, Grace, the ongoing political alignments pitting President William Ruto against the former deputy president Rigathi Gachagua and the host of opposition leaders have put the deputy president Kithure Kindiki in a precarious position. And they're saying that is the former deputy president Gachagua's move to galvanize Mount Kenya and remove it out of the grip will most likely force the president to look elsewhere. You know, kwa sababu Mount Kenya ndio iko na watu wengi, by the way, Grace. From the way from the look of things. Alafu they're saying other than Gachagua, the former allies turn rivals include that is Justin Muturi, you know, that is the former chief justice, Mithika Linturi, the former agricultural CS, and a host of elected senators, MPs who have ditched Ruto's UDA. And you know, these are people with influence, Grace. You know, na bado there are some sentiments, you know, Grace, zenye watu walitoa. I would make sure that I read them. And this is what they said. This is what Musalia Mudavadi asema. Is one of the prime cabinet secretaries. Asema, a bird in hand is better than 10 in the bush. Hold on what you have. Take it seriously. Then Kenyans out there are who will wish, you know, are who will wish what they want to have. You know, that is true. That is true. Wacha kuangalia numbers the Mount Kenya, because imagine, say, it feels like they're doing campaign sahi. You know, instead of doing developments, there are things that Kenyans want to see.
They have to focus on the things that are relevant first.
And to add on that, Grace, still on the same thing, they're saying lately Kindiki has that lately, that is the DP, Kindiki has on meet the people tour in the region through empowerment drives and has dismissed the coalition between Gachagua, that is the former deputy president, Kalonzo, and Liberation Party leader Martha Karua, the former Interior CS Fred Matiang'i, and the DAP Kenyan Party leader Eugene Wamalwa, branding it a coalition of failures.
Wow,
you know, that is not, imagine that, branding them a coalition of failures. You know, that is another thing. It feels like sasa wanaleta personal issues. Personal issues, Grace, you know, especially bringing it out to the public. No, unajua the people that have just read, there are people, kila mtu akona chama yake, apart from the former deputy president, we expect that is this month the 17 anafaa kutoa party yake, and the same people bado wanataka kuvai for presidency, that is in 2027. So we have to see what happens, because but I don't think I don't know Kenyans how you think about that. Him branding them a coalition of failures, that is not a good thing. By the way, that is not a good thing.
Yeah, that's not a good thing.
And still, he added, that is the DP, he added and said, the government will not be distracted by premature political campaigns as the country approaches the 2027 election. Those meeting every day are what they did. Those meeting every day, what did they accomplish, and when they had opportunity to serve Kenyans? He paused. So huyu ni nani anaambiwa Kenyans? Because it feels like this is the deputy president being addressed, but we are not hatujasema ni yeye. It feels like you know, let me repeat that statement. The government will not be distracted by premature political campaigns, but it feels like they're being distracted, you know, because Grace, if I address something yenye inakuhusu Grace ama yenye ikuhusu, why should you react to it?
Yes, and I think they should not really focus more on what people are saying. Wangekuwa wanafanya development, hata wengine wakuwa wanaongea as much. I guess what they are doing in overpower what they are saying.
Actually, this should keep them in check. Najua, we should do more development, this and that and that. I want to repeat the statement, Grace. The government will not be distracted by premature political approaches. Oh, so they also know the political approaches say they are very premature. You know, the 2027 election, those meeting every day, what did they accomplish? You know, what did they do when they had opportunity to serve Kenyans? That is what he posed. So hatujui ni nani anaambiwa? You know, Wakenya tuambie ni nani anaambiwa. We really don't know. We don't want to make an assumption. Probably alikuwa anaambia mtu mwingine. But I think they should work because there are a lot of things. We have the health sector. Tuko na infrastructure. You know, tuna expect that is the 2025-26 budget inakuwa released. Let them start working, Grace. You know, we have the education sector. Tuko na CBC inahitaji kazi. Tuko na we have a lot of things. You know, Kenyans want to see work. Then when it comes to 2027, mwananchi ndio wewe ndio utakaa chini, mwananchi amue huyu mtu amefanya hii na hii. You know, these are the promises that these people made, and this is what they done. They'll sit down and they'll be like, should we give them more time to work? You know, do they deserve to be there? Instead of saying Mount Kenya, but they do know Mount Kenya inakuwa address kila siku
wanaongea kuhusu Mount Kenya. It is bad because there are other counties and other regions in the country.
And they should focus on development pia on other regions.
Wafikia Turkana, tusikiange kuna Turkana na huko.
Still on the same that is still on politics. Before to talk kwa politics twende on other stories. Imekuwa highlighted, imeandikwa that is conflict. Gachagwa's ally, that is the former deputy president, dumps him for trying to control Mount Kenya. So this is something that
story here.
You have the same story?
Ex-MP dumps Gachagua for Uhuru, bets on Ruto.
Okay.
It says that he says despite public anger following Gashagua's impeachment, the political mood in Mount Kenya is shifting. This story is very interesting because yani ameshadampiwa sahi na Ngonjiri Wambogo. And former Nyeri Town MP Mr. Ngonjiri Wambogo has returned to Uhuru Kenyatta's Jubilee Party, distancing himself from former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua and dismissing the push to form a region Mount Kenya party. Mr. Wambogo, who has been close to Gachagua, also cautioned against dismissing President William Ruto's chances in 2027. He says, we've seen this before. Kibaki and Uhuru faced turbulence in their first 2 years. Ruto may still serve 10 years. Extraordinary people make extraordinary president. No, extraordinary people make extraordinary presidents. Unasikia sasa venye anaongea mazuri ya hii side nyingine na ametoka hii side nyingine. So ni kama hapa kuna machungu mingi because the former MP warned against what he termed one party dictatorship in the region. Even if a single party benefits me, hivyo ndo anasema, it wouldn't be fair to others. As a God-fearing person, I stand for justice and fairness. Let multi-party democracy thrive. You know, in my mind I'm like, anasema yeye anasimamia justice and fairness. Does it mean kwenye ametoka hakuna justice and fairness? Asa a dump atoke huko and akija the other side. He was speaking on Kogi's Corner TV on Tuesday night, and Wambogo says his work with Gachagua was purely professional. I wasn't there as a politician, but as a communication expert.
Oh my goodness.
My work ended after the October 2024 impeachment. Ni kama alitoka after impeachment akaona hapa. Mambo hayaendi vizuri, but we don't know. We really don't know why he left. But he says, I'm now back in politics as an independent player. Unasikia sasa ameachana na kushikana na watu, amekuja kukua independent. And we don't know about that. We don't know what is happening in our country. Watu wanashikana alafu all of a sudden unasikia mtu ameachwa. Ni kama we saw also in the ODM on Monday. ODM kulikuwa na mtu mmoja hapo, James Orengo. Alikuwa ni kama anajaribu ku criticize what the ODM or what the broad based government is doing. Yeah, so we don't really know hapa mtu anaweza achwa peke yake anytime.
This is politics, Grace.
Watu wanakuacha mbio wanaenda kusimama peke yake.
Grace, it's called politics.
Yeah.
And still kwa hiyo mambo yamesema this let me repeat, this is what he said. That is the MP Ngonjiri Wambungu. He said that my challenge as a Jubilee party member is that there is a party that will come that will compete with my party, you know, and some want all other parties including Jubilee to be done away with. And akasema just as what you've said, we are not in a one party dictatorship. So who is the dictator? Who is the dictator?
I wonder.
You know, we don't make assumptions because probably you'll say somebody else, but who is the dictator?
You know, these people wanatokanga mahali anatoka akishajua siri zako, akikuja hii side anaanza kukukata, ni kama anajaribu ku bring you to the light, but he's not really bringing it as venye inaeleweka.
So we're asking who is the dictator, because they're just doing what the former deputy president Grace did with the president. Venye alitoka Grace immediately he said that unaona, niliambiwa 10 million nipatiwe ndio nikae mamlakani, niliambiwa nifanye hii nikakataa, niliambiwa nifanye hii nikakataa. So ukitoka mahali Grace, you know, or ukiwa kwa uongozi wa hiyo kitu, mbona angespeak out aseme this is dictatorship, you know? Because this is something that is another thing. So is dictatorship. Nani dictator?
We really don't know. Can text us on our WhatsApp number and tell us what do they think about this. Tutazita the politics shenanigans, because unasikia broad based government, kuna mmoja wao anasimama anasema, you know what guys, what we are doing, this is not good. Tena on this side kuna mwingine amesimama na akasema.
And on other national news, Grace, filmmakers linked to shocking documentary released on bail. 4 filmmakers were arrested following the Blood Parliament documentary. I believe what wali watch. Na tuliambia watu watupe maoni yao ni yapi about that documentary. How do you feel about it? So far so good, you know. And court allows the DCI to conduct forensic analysis on devices taken during the arrest. They say Nairobi County yesterday granted 10,000 bail to each of 4 filmmakers linked to the blood Parliament documentary, pending ongoing investigation on their DCI. And that is what happened. Kila mtu alilipa 10,000 Grace. You know, and they say a documentary aired on BBC affiliated platforms has sparkled controversy for allegedly revealing corruption, violence and unethical conduct with Kenya's political institutions. Lea Motiso, representing the filmmakers, argued their arrest and searches of their current offices were unconstitutional acts of intimidation aimed at suppressing journalistic freedom. You know, want to hear from our viewers. Do you think it was fair arresting them? You know, because what they aired, Grace, is what happened. Is the reality actually is just reminding. I don't want to say it's reminding people of what happened, but is the reality of what happened. You know, the young people died. You know, we saw police shooting the young people. Tear gas ilitumika, Grace. It's something that happened. So tell me, because fair? Because even the law amesema there is journalistic freedom. You know, especially when it comes to media itself. So I don't know. According to the citizens out there, the arrest was fair. I want to hear from them.
Let us hear from them, because it is a very shocking story. Sasa watu wanaweza ogopa hadi kuanza kufanya transparency.
Because the lawyer emphasized that filmmakers' cooperation with law enforcement and their status as law-abiding citizens, nothing they had previously received from a government grant for their creative work. They are ready to submit to a fair legal system that respects their rights. That is what he said. So we need to see how that goes, because I think bado iko YouTube, right?
Bado iko YouTube, bado haijadropiwa.
But I think for me, I would say that is what happened, Grace. That is what happened last year.
You know,
it's the reality,
even in the minds of the Kenyans.
And but you know, there are citizens citizens who bado wanatafuta justice,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
for what
yeah,
happened.
true.
So probably they feel like itawasha mamioto tena because, you know, you're expecting the budget. You don't want to say anything.
Yeah.
But I don't know, probably they have their own reasons, you know. But Tuno Mekwa released on bail that is 10,000. Yeah, as we wind up, we have 1 minute. What do you have?
There's this story about Kangata. Yeah, the Muranga governor Irungo Kangata, a lawyer, represented some families of people who died in the March 2019 Ethiopian Airlines plane crash until they were paid is not in question. This is because families received millions in compensation per victim for each family that he represented. Dr. Kangata got his pre-agreed share alongside his lawyer partners, as he told the nation in 2024. But there's some question here. However, one questionable move has come to light, which involves a petition that was presented in the Senate at the time when Dr. Kangata was a senator. The petitioners, now those who made the petition, were employees working under Dr. Kangata in his Senate of Finance, and some are currently senior officials in the Muranga County administration. Maybe now people can go and read more about that story because there's some controversies about it. Yes.
Okay, that is what we had today for That Is the Current Affairs. We're always here to make sure that you stay updated of what is happening that is in our country and beyond. Thank you so much for tuning in for this segment. I'm Angela Kabete, and together with Grace Harper Studio, we had an amazing time engaging with you. This segment has been sponsored by Stack Institute and Driving School. The courses that they offer, that is ICT, hospitality courses, cosmetology, and driving courses. They have various branches in Nakuru County, but the main campus is in Njoro Town on the Igato Njoro Road. If you're interested, you can visit their website on www.stackinstitute.ac.ke and register online to get a 10% discount. Still, you can reach out via their email, that is info@stackinstitute.ac.ke. We're going for a short break. Then don't go away, because we'll be right back with Family Thursday with Grace Haron. Stay tuned.